If everyone's here, why don't we call the meeting to order, December 14th, 2020 at 5:30 PM. Consistent with the governor's orders suspending certain provisions of open meeting law and banning gatherings of more than 10 people, this meeting will be conducted by remote participation to the greatest extent possible. The public may not physically attend this meeting, but every effort is made to allow the public to view or listen to the meeting in real time. Did we have any public engagement, Ann?
No, we did not.
Item number 3, board update. Nope.
Sure. Ann, do you want to kick this one off for a second? I'm just looking for something.
Yeah, well, first, I don't know, did Anna get introduced? My internet was going in and out.
I don't think she did.
No.
So Anna will be joining us. She is taken over as the office principal assistant, I think is her title. And so she'll be recording the meeting minute.
Awesome. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you all.
Should be quarterbacking most of the communication from us, or at least keeping my communication to you organized.
Awesome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Number 4, operational update.
All right. So sorry about that. I was just looking for notes that I wrote down. So just a heads up with the surging and everything that's happening, and a little bit of an influx in Wakefield changing back to a red community after Thanksgiving. We made the conscious decision to try to stagger our field crews a little bit under the essence of safety. Really what we don't want to have happen is somebody get a close contact and then find out we have a storm like Thursday coming and we have a whole bunch of people on quarantine that can't be in work.
Right.
Outside of that, it feels like for whatever reason, most typical years things slow down. It's actually getting pretty busy. Just trying to make up for lost time over the canceled spring and whatnot, but everybody's healthy and in good spirits, so we really have nothing to complain about in that regard.
That's very good news.
Yeah, it's
So-
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to mention we're about to do the same thing with staggering shifts.
Yeah, I feel like it was inevitable, right? The only difference this time versus the first time we did it is in the spring when we did it, we didn't know if we were ever going to get any masks or PPE or anything like that. We have that now. We can work, we have to work safer, we can, but it's not worth, losing a snowstorm, over chancing it. So an abundance of caution, especially with the holidays around. So I think everybody's been really good about it. So it'll be unique in the fact that, whoever's called in, it'll certainly probably feel taxing at times for them, but it's for all the right reasons. So.
Yeah, and I know one other thing I wanted to mention is, so given that we have a shared health department in Melrose and Wakefield, I know the same rules apply to you that they do to Melrose, and the health director did mention to me the other day that we have the option of having, when somebody is quarantined but not positive and asymptomatic, that they can still potentially come in and plow. So I think that's it. It's really lucky that we have that flexibility, and that'll be in our case. I consider that a last resort, but certainly if we get to that, it'll absolutely be used.
Yeah, 100%. One of the other things we did a little bit differently, so related to snow, we actually printed out every single route that we have and handed it to every single contractor that joined us for this season. The other thing we did was we changed up where we check in and check out. So now when they report to work, say Wednesday night, they'll actually show up to Nahat Street because we have more space there. We can actually use the little hut down at the pit, sort of like a drive-up window. So
Great.
see the truck come in, check you in, and then send you on your way. And then as far as dismissal is concerned, normally we'd have them sign out at the office, touch base with them at the end. Now they're just going to be let go right from their route. So someone will come out, give them the verbal, the thumbs up, and send them on their way. So
Great.
a little bit of trial and error on that part, but I think it's going fine. We're just going to have to adjust if it doesn't. But
Mhm.
Yeah, that's great.
yeah.
It sounds good, Joe.
Yeah,
Very,
other
very
than that,
smart.
So just a heads up, some things coming up. The agenda is a little bit light tonight, but we'll be, believe it or not, transitioning into budget season, which is absolutely crazy to hear myself say. But so it'll be time to start thinking about numbers and some other things. So I'll have some more information for you guys about some stuff that we might be looking to do, or I'll bounce some ideas off you to see if we can help gauge the temperature on things and where we might be trying to head. So it'll be something for me probably just after Christmas, a little bit more on that.
Awesome.
I think unless Ann has anything to add, it's just been status quo.
Sorry, nothing else to add.
Okay. All right, item number 5, previously discussed dispute. Catherine Nigro, Lakeside Inn.
So I can add a little to that. So they have checked all their toilets. They used the tablets. They found 2 small, tiny leaks in 2 toilets. That was it. Other than that, they couldn't find anything. I did talk to her last week. Her latest bill, the October bill, she thought was correct. So she didn't find anything wrong with that. And I did ask her to pay it, and she said she would. So that bill came in at 45,450. I had attached a copy of their usage to the meeting invite today.
Mhm.
So which bills, I'm looking at what you sent, which bills were they contesting?
So the March and June bill they're contesting. She's now agreed to the October bill, the September bill.
The March and June bill, okay. And so the June bill, even though it was considerably lower than some of the previous months, that was because of, they were still contesting it because of COVID. They were saying they couldn't possibly have used that amount.
Correct. So they haven't paid any of those 3. So she did agree to pay the most recent one just to keep things moving. And I did ask her if she would pay the same amount for the March and June bill just to get the payments in.
Okay.
So,
The
Ann,
March, go on,
j-
Maria.
just want to be clear. So what you're saying, Ann, is she's paid the, is it 4,000 roughly for each?
Numbers go together. So 14,500. She said she would pay last week. We haven't seen payment yet, but I didn't talk to her till maybe Thursday. So I assume that check will be coming this week.
Okay. Okay, sorry. Thank you.
So just to clarify on the usage then, the 171,000, the March bill that was for 171,000 cubic feet, that was pre-COVID. So she just felt that was too high because it's just higher than their usual.
And she said business, it's not a great time of year for their business. And she said that they started seeing some change in people coming in March.
Okay, and then the 91,000 usage they thought was unreasonable because they had basically practically nobody.
Yeah, supposedly 20 out of 80 rooms were booked. That was all.
Okay.
The 171 was also a very long period. It was over 100. It was 102 days.
Okay. And then also, did she comment at all on how business is right now, or, you know, the months leading up to the September bill as compared to the months leading up to the June bill? I know you said she thought that was a reasonable amount. Did she feel that occupancy had been similar?
She said it's still declining, but that seemed more in line, which I don't know how that she came to that conclusion, but I'm guessing because it's about half of what the normal bill was, if you know, if you go down a little further.
Mhm.
So they found some leaky toilets.
Just two small tiny leaks. She considered no leaks. I was just reading her email. Yes, they checked 57 and none were leaking, and then they found two small leaks. And they read again during the hours of 2 a.m. and 5 a.m.
Oh yeah, what did they find? They were gonna do that for a period of time, right?
Very
were gonna-
small, yeah, a very small amount of usage.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, so then that implies that this usage was real.
I would agree.
Right. We don't know where all that, how they used it, but it seems as if the meter's working correctly, right? They've checked everything. They've had similar usage in the past, but her claim, and I don't mean this, what she shared with us was that they just didn't have the number of guests to sustain that level of usage. That was her point. And she certainly brought a lot of detail with her. And I'm not doubting that she feels that there's some issue, but honestly, I don't know how we could trace it at this point.
Yeah.
So Anne, what do you think based on what is your recommendation, or you and Joe, what do you think, how do you think it's best to handle this?
So, I don't think the meter self-fixed itself. So my belief is that the water was used, possibly not in a way they knew it was used, hose left on outside, or, I think a leaky toilet that someone's jiggling or whatever. I'm not sure what's going on, but I don't think the meter, itself. And I think it's interesting that the 45,400, she was okay, that was in line. That still seems like a lot of water to me. So that's like in June, if there were still some guests in the end of March, April, May, that maybe that water usage is correct for who was in there.
Mhm. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's such a hard one to abate anything. Are they, I assume that they're probably struggling to pay with,
Yes, I'm sure that's part of the problem also, that they're struggling to pay.
Mhm.
I guess the choices are, is there any way to put them on a payment plan, or is there any other type of relief they can apply for? COVID relief type money for businesses, you know, that might help them be able to afford the bill. We certainly don't want to be having local businesses go out of business.
No, we don't. And I thought, am I mistaken? Did she not mention that the rooms are being used were some of their rooms being used for folks who were isolating or essential workers?
I
So I'm
think
wondering if, to Elena's point, could that help them qualify for anything? I don't know.
I can check in with our emergency manager and see if he has any ideas on what they could do.
That's a good idea, Ann.
That's a very good idea.
And another thing too, I'm trying to look it up now, but I don't know if the chamber has any resources for people kind of going through similar struggles, probably not to this extent, but businesses that might feel themselves strapped a little bit financially right now. I'm just trying to look really quick and see if there's any resources that jump out that we can refer them to as well.
And we certainly could do a payment plan.
Okay. And I'm assuming, Anne, that, they wouldn't we would strip out fees based on the
Yes.
length of time we've been going back and forth on this.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hey, Anna, will you mute? You mind muting? I think you're buzzing when you come up.
Me?
Yeah, will you mute?
Mute it?
There we go. Thank you.
So,
Do we need to make a motion to deny the request?
Yeah, because then I can go to the next steps.
Okay. I hate being the one to to be on record doing this. But I will make a motion to deny the request for an abatement from Lakeside Inn, but recommend helping them get on a payment plan that's workable for them, and also recommend if we have any ideas for other funding they can seek to pass that along.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Anything else to add to that, Ann? Or
I'll keep the board appraised of what we can do, and I will call her tomorrow and see what help we can get her.
awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
thank you.
Item
And thanks for all your work on this. You really have been above and beyond. So thank you so much.
Okay, item number 6, other business.
Joe, did you have anything? Or I don't know if Elena and Chris are aware that you are meeting with the recycling contractors. Did you want to talk about that at all?
No, absolutely. I actually forgot to talk about that in the beginning. So you read my mind, Maria. So the RFP for recycling that we worked on and put together, we have 3 proposers right now. Anne, myself, and someone you're familiar with, Rick, have met with the first proposer to talk about price and some things related to service and different unique pieces of the relationship they offer the town of Wakefield. We actually have a second one tomorrow, and then the final on Wednesday. So from there, we'll probably be able to narrow down a little bit of the cost and some of the other things, finalize and get some more detail on, and be working towards hopefully making a recommendation to the town. We're shooting for January 1. Obviously, the snow and the holiday might extend that a little bit, but probably by the middle of January, we'll have it to a point where we can make a recommendation on where to move forward with. Couple things surprised me. Couple things probably didn't surprise me. I think you have a good blend of, potential service or avenues. I think self-admittedly, we threw a lot at them as far as, ideas from this board, the sustainability committee. We took input from everywhere to see, what we could include so we didn't miss anything. So I'm optimistic that, we can land somewhere that is fiscally responsible, but also offers maybe some new and unique things too for the town. So without saying too much, I would say that probably by the next meeting, hopefully we'll have some good news to share.
Great.
And Anne was nice enough to drop the proposals by so that I could take a look at them. And I was really, the RFP was really meaty. Terrific job on that. And Anne and I were also on a call, Chris and Elena, just so you know, that, so would you call it, Anne, an extension of the MVP project the other day to talk about a resilience framework that's open to all of the town, you know, anyone working on behalf of the town. And it's been designed, I guess, by the town's consultant on this. What is it, Kim Lundgren from KLA?
Yes.
And forgive me for not having the document in front of me, but we can share it with you, Chris and Elena. It's really it's a cool organizing tool that when you are considering any type of a project, to look at sort of the effects of environment, socioeconomic. So if you're doing something with infrastructure, you know, it just gives you some quick boxes to consider. So, so anyway, in thinking about the RFP work, in looking at the work that Joe and his team did, you could see that they really were conscious of trying to include education, and so the vendors were coming at them not just as you were going to pick up these, you know, these recyclables and dump them, and on our way we go. So I was impressed. And then Joe, my only other question in looking at it is the prices are, for two of the vendors, are fairly similar. The third vendor is considerably higher. Are you deciding with your internal team based on, you know, are you having a meeting of the minds sort of once you've met with the three vendors, and then you'll go from there? Is that what you're planning?
Yeah, so what we'll do is those numbers in those RFPs, obviously it's a starting point for negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
So they tend to be a little bit higher, and then as the contractor typically feels more comfortable with, you know, you having some skin in the game, those numbers tend to drop. I've never seen it not drop, I'll put it that way. So part of what we're doing now is having a couple of them, you know, explain to us how their cost basis breaks down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of them uses a per ton calculation. So really trying to understand that.
Right.
So that we can make sure when it's time to budget it that, you know, we're as predictable as we can be and we're accurate. One thing we would hate to do is not be, right? That wouldn't be good.
Right.
So to answer your question, that's where it starts. We'll go from there, and then, you know, some of them will probably fall into line and be very close. If one of them doesn't, then obviously, you know, we have to balance the service and the cost to it too, right? We can't
Right.
fall in love with the service that's gonna, you know, hit the town. And then I'm sure that the town administrator will weigh in a little bit as he gets a kind of more of an idea of where his, you know, financial picture looks next year.
Sure.
So really it's kind of it's a balancing act there.
Right. Well, I
So-
appreciate your letting me look at the material. It was very interesting.
Absolutely. So I know that doesn't really completely answer your question,
No,
but
well, I think it does. And I think I understand that you have a lot of different, it's a very nuanced decision and discussion. And one of the vendors already has a contract with the town. So there's a lot of things that you're weighing in on this, but it's nice to see that you've got two vendors that are regional, you know, and one that's national. So I think that's just in terms of due diligence. I think that's very good for the town.
so Anne, correct me if I'm wrong. I think we had 5 or 6 pull the documents.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah. So then three ended up actually proposing. So it made it a little bit more manageable that everybody didn't, but you know, competition's a good thing, right?
Right.
Tends to lead towards better pricing and value. So we'll see.
Awesome. And anything else?
No, I mean, that's really the that's the snapshot of what's happening. Yeah. Oh, the other thing we have is our RFP for our building feasibility study came back. So we'll be meeting with the permanent building committee later this week to talk about potential next steps with that. But I myself am a participant with, Ann and the rest of our staff. So we kind of look to the permanent building committee for some guidance on that, but hopefully we'll be able to start doing some work on that and seeing what we can accomplish. Little
How
too
many-
early.
How many proposals did we get?
Believe it or not, one.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
think,
are you allowed to tell us who, since there's no competition anyway?
I'm gonna hold off, but I bet you being in the field, you're probably would have been your first guess.
Okay.
All
right.
The only thing I could say is there's somebody that had done some work, some LSP work and different things on the site to begin with.
Okay.
So they have a pretty good understanding of what they're walking into. So we shall
That's
see.
too bad, though. That's too bad that there weren't more firms interested.
It's interesting because I felt like more architects would pull it, but the only thing that I'm thinking is maybe they didn't because we run such a unique type of operation. I mean, if you think about it, we're really building an industrial facility, right?
Right.
So I guess I'm comforted in the fact knowing that the potential awardee is in the field and kind of has a good understanding of what we're doing day to day. So
Yeah.
we're already relatable on that point. We don't have to convince them why we might want bigger doors or other small nuances. So,
Yeah. Okay. That's
but
good.
as soon as Thursday's over, I'll share the documents I got back that the permanent building committee is evaluating. That way you guys can take a read and take a look at the proposal.
Great.
Awesome. Any idea on our next meeting?
That's completely up to the board.
Anyone?
Same time next month.
So like the
Do we have any?
18th or the 11th?
Yeah, any important dates, Joe, in January that we need to wait to get some more information or?
No, I don't think so. By that time, I'll have a good idea of, or we'll be pretty close to where we're going to be at with recycling. Most of the big stuff budgetary wise will probably be hitting in February. I'll
Right.
certainly be able to talk about it next month, but it'll be preliminary in that stage. So whatever's the most convenient works.
Okay. How's the 18th of January for
That's
people?
Martin Luther King
Oh,
Day.
it's Martin Luther
Oh,
King,
never
yeah.
Never mind. The 11th or the 25th, what is better for everybody?
Either works fine for me.
Either's good for me too.
Joe, does the 25th give you a little extra time in case you get?
Yep, you read my mind. So if we push to the 25th, we'll probably have a little bit more substance to conversation. So if that works,
Mhm.
that would probably be best, but we can accommodate anything.
Yeah, let's aim for the 25th then, if that
That
works.
sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good.
So one, okay. All right. Does anyone have anything else? No? All right, I'll
Nope.
get a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank
All
you,
right.
everyone. Happy
Happy
holidays.
holidays. Yeah, happy
Yes.
holidays.
Stay well, okay?
Take care, everybody.
All
Yeah.
righty.
You all
Bye-bye.
too. Stay safe.
Thank